Stay alive.
Oh, it's Zoom.
Aaron's hooking it up for me.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's. You're doing a great job, Bob. I'm not second guessing here.
You got an agenda, Nick? And started?
I know, Bob, just go ahead and run it.
Okay. I'll call the Monday, February 6th, 2023 regular Darlington School Board meeting to order. I acknowledge public notice, stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Chris? Here. Bank. Gratz. Hermanson, Schilling, Staffer.
Yep.
Winslow.
Here.
And Zumbiller.
Here,
All for special appearance. Anybody here for anything else? No. Then I would need a motion to adopt the agenda.
Make a motion to adopt.
Second.
All those in favor of adopting agenda as presented, say aye.
Aye.
I need approval of the minutes from the regular school board meeting on January 16th and the special meeting on January 30th.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
right,
The treasurer's report is available online. Does anybody got any questions? If not, I'll move on to the introduction of new staff member. Mike?
All right. That's it here. Monday?
Okay. With me tonight, Logan Green.
Give you a little bit of background based on what he provided to me. So Logan graduated from Pecatonica High School in 2017, which puts him right between my younger daughter and my older son. And because he played in the same conference as them, I got to see Logan participate in athletics quite a bit as he was going through high school. After high school, he went on to attend Loras College for a semester and played football before transferring to UW-Platteville to finish out his degree. He's been involved in coaching for a while, having started coaching football at Darlington his sophomore year of college, and he's presently a member of the football coaching staff. Presently, Logan teaches 7th grade social studies and English language arts. He reports feeling fortunate to begin his teaching career in our great district and for the connections that he's made with students and staff over the last few months. Just a few things about Logan that I would share, that he continues to grow in his teaching and in his classroom management skills. I think he found out this fall how difficult that tightrope walk is between coaching and teaching as a first year. So I know that once football season was over, he was able to breathe a little bit, but he was putting, a lot of time into 2 different domains. And then, something about Logan, I think he takes instructional coaching well. I know that we've had some good conversations, and when I've gone to do further observations, I can see him trying to employ some of the things that I've suggested. So Logan, I don't know if you have anything to add.
I'm just really happy to be here. It's been a really good experience so far.
Welcome.
You're welcome.
Thanks for coming.
Okay, down to item 8, discussion action on election of new board president and possibly other school board officers due to a resignation.
Aaron Wolf resigned from the board. When a board member resigns, there's no need for the board to accept that, or, you know, and have the authority to accept it. Once he announced it, then it's official. Being that he was the president, we now need a new president. So what'll happen here is you guys will go through the process of nominating somebody and voting and picking a new president. If that person is not currently an office holder, we'll be done and we'll move on. If that person currently has a different office, then we'll repeat the process to fill that now open position and see if that creates a new opening and so on until we're finally done.
Approvals.
Too bad Rick stays here.
Do that, we need a nomination for a new board president.
I nominate Bob.
I second that.
A nomination for Bob as president. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Any other nominations? Need to make a motion to close that nomination and cast you unanimous ballot.
I move to close the election.
I second.
All those in favor of closing that nomination and cast the unanimous ballot for Bob, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Charlie, could I ask you to do something for me?
Yes, sir.
Could you come down and take minutes for me?
Yeah.
I can't do both.
No, that's, yeah,
If you would, please.
that's fine.
Obviously, that creates an opening for clerk. Do we have anybody who would be interested in being clerk?
Really?
So was the first for, by Nick,
Yes.
second by Jeff? Okay, all
No.
Yes, first was by Nick, second by.
right. All right.
Carly, you or Stacy?
I'll be 100% honest with you, with being so new on the board, I would maybe want to get a year under my belt before I would do it. I'm interested in doing it, but I just don't know if I have enough under my belt right now to actually do it and do it well, if that makes sense.
Jeff?
I agree with Stacy. I'm learning a lot. I'm 6 months to a year out before I'd like to do anything for it.
Nope. I think Stacy did that.
I mean, is it basically?
Stacy's at pretty much every meeting.
Yeah.
Almost.
Her attendance is very high.
The problem is I hate to put that on her when she's got athletics and everything else with her kids, you know what I'm saying? I mean, is it basically just writing stuff down just like this and then typing?
Pretty
it
much
up?
writing stuff down, agendas, signing checks and stuff like that. There's. Got to stop up the office once in a great while, but it ain't that much, so it's.
Yeah, every time there's an election, stuff for you to come sign
Okay.
once a year.
So.
I mean, is it something that I'd be able to catch on right away or? is
I
it-
believe it would easily.
I would believe you would.
You'll be fine, Carly.
All right,
Vote of confidence.
all
I
right,
nominate Carly.
all right.
Sounds like we've got a
Motion by Staffer, second by Zoomer to nominate Carly as clerk. Is there any other nominations? Is there any other nominations? And is there any other
Who
nominations?
was first on that one?
What's that?
I did.
Jeff.
Hi, Jeff.
I'm moving to
Alright.
close the nominations.
Motion by Staffer, second by,
Me.
second by, Zoom to close nominations and cast the unanimous vote for Carly. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, then that's pretty much it. Treasurer stays the same and. Oh, no. Yeah, treasurer and everything stays the same.
Vice President, so
Down to item 9, discussing an action on the 2023-2024 school calendar.
I attached the proposal and board book. That's a collaborative effort between administration, some teachers. We got together to talk about this. The short version is that this is exactly the same as previous years, just everything moved forward. There's always little differences depending on which day Christmas falls on and things, maybe one day here or there, but the number of instructional days is the same. The biggest change to point out would be teacher checkout day fell on Monday, June 3rd. So last day of school is the last day of May. The kids get out early. So we decided amongst everybody to take that teacher checkout day on the Monday of June and eliminate it and add in its place an in-service day in August before school starts. So we always have 3 in-service days. Now we'll have 4, and we usually had 1 teacher checkout day. Now we'll have 0. They still have the afternoon of the May 31st. Kids get out at 11:30. They still have the afternoon to do their checkout stuff. The reason that we're all comfortable with that it'll work is that with the technology and stuff, there's not as much need for, the physical writing of paperwork and stuff that checkout used to involve. So this will work well.
Make a motion to approve.
Second that.
Motion by Chris, second by Staffer, to approve the 23-24 school calendar as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passed. Item number 10. Discussion and action regarding the district loan of $1 million.
As you know, we're in the process of building a tornado shelter / gym. That's going to involve us coming up with about $2.1 million of our own money. The grant's going to cover $4.6 million. It would be very close to being able to make it through this on our own without this loan, but the reason I'm suggesting it, number one, it will avoid any possibility of cash flow problems during the year where we currently, the way our aid is timed from the state, there are times where we have to pull out of our savings account to make things work from a cash flow standpoint on a temporary basis. And if we use a significant amount of our savings on this gym, that could potentially be an issue. Another factor in favor of this is that the way interest rates are right now, we can borrow the money as a cushion and invest it in such a way that we almost come out even. We're not going to come out ahead, but we're not going to be very far off what it seemed like it would be. So we had a referendum vote a couple of years ago, which passed. And I made a video explaining the need for that referendum at the time and put it on Facebook. And one of the things I said on there was that if this referendum passes, it will not only cover our operating needs, but we'll also be able to take care of a lot of building projects that out of this money that we need. And for example, the locker rooms, the HVAC project here, we added a cafeteria on at DIMS. That was all without a building referendum came out of that. But I did say on the video, the exception to that would be if we did, at the time I said, if we do get the FEMA grant, there may be a need there for a referendum for building. As it turns out, we're going to be able to do it without that, as long as we are able to pass this.
Make a motion to approve.
I second that.
Motion by Chris, second by Staffer, to approve the district going out and getting bids on the $1 million loan. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That passed. Discussion, item number 11, discussion on WSA convention updates. I can give a brief one quick before Carly and Kale go. It was a good convention. Had a lot of good discussion with a lot of people. It's always good to meet up with people and talk to other people. Breakout sessions were good, speakers were good and stuff like that. The only hiccup will probably through the whole thing, and Carly can give an update on that a little more, is our delegate association. It wound up ending abruptly before we got done because we had to suspend because enough people walked out and we lost a quorum. So we never even got done. So
It was 4.5 hours,
Oh,
4.5 hours.
I thought something else might have happened.
No,
No,
just 4.5 hours.
4.5 hours in, and
People had
all of a
other-
sudden they were like, I don't think we have enough people to carry on. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding. So I was part of the first quorum ever to have to stop abruptly, which was not a good start to,
Sounds like we're in good hands.
God bless you for thinking that. Yeah, no.
So that's kind of my update. Carly or Kayla, you guys can go next.
Oh, go ahead.
Okay, I had a great time, really good breakout sessions, really good speakers. Learned a lot, that's for sure, and sitting in those beautiful, beautiful, beautiful sessions. And learning just how little things you have to have a amendment, and then that amendment has to be voted on before you can go to the next amendment, and that amendment may build off the next amendment. It's quite interesting, let's put it that way, but very, very good. Good convention, I thought.
You do have to give your highlight, Carly.
What's that?
Braylon?
Oh, I won Braylon at a booth. I had a big poster of them, and just happened to be
Running back.
Braylon, yeah,
Got some running.
yeah, so.
Carried it around for all.
Yeah, no big deal. I got a text all of a sudden, they're like, hey, you want Braylon Allen? I'm like, the real? They're like, no pictures, so I got to go take Braylon Allen, so everywhere we went, I had to take Braylon with us, because I didn't have time to go back to the hotel, so it's fine. Very nice. Oh, thank you, Jarvis. But yeah, awesome.
I too thought it was a good conference. Always learn a lot. They're big enough that they are able to bring in world-class speakers every time. It's speakers that's all they do is travel the world talking. It's either motivational or educational, so they're always very good. Couple of the breakout sessions I went to, one of them had a legislative update that said, although the education budget for the next 2 years hasn't been set yet, probably won't come out till May, the state is enjoying the problem of having a large surplus, probably the biggest one in the history. The budget for the state is $21 billion, and they have a $7 billion surplus to try to figure out what to do with. What the DPI is asking for over the next 2 years is increases of $1,000 per student and increasing the special ed reimbursement rate to 40% the first year, 60% the second year. That's just their opening salvo thrown out for the negotiations. We'll see how that goes. I went to another session that was put on by the WIA Board of Directors where they talked about it's in school circles, it's been a hot topic for the last year, is that these people are studying the issue of Catholic private schools winning a disproportionate amount of state championships in the smaller divisions. And they've settled on what they're gonna end up implementing is a success factor where the short version, if you win, then you move up a division. There is going to be, they kept focusing on an appeal process for these small schools. Let's say you haven't been to state ever in 20 years, and then Hunter Johnson comes through and you win state once or twice. And then so they bump you up. Well, then you make this appeal. Look, here's where we were before. He's graduated now. He's gone. We're going to be, and they will listen to that and consider, circumstances like
So if
that.
you have a 6-Pete, we may have to appeal quite a couple times.
Yeah, that appeal won't help for us that we haven't.
When is this implemented? Because it sounds ridiculous.
It's coming soon. I do not. I do know. Yeah. They can't fully implement until 2025 because of they're not going to go back in time and add up the 3-year total starting like in the past. So starting now for 3 years, and then in 2025 will be the start of it. So
Is that for all sports?
no, there's some,
Football, basketball.
it's for most
Volleyball.
sports. There are some things like track. I think it's not because they said it's individual.
Yeah, so it's not gonna be for all sports, because some of them that like lacrosse that they're just starting up. and things like that. It's gonna be for the major sports. But it's still gonna have to pass, the WIA at their annual meeting. They're gonna have to get a majority vote on that. They seem pretty confident that it's gonna go through as is.
Does that majority vote, Pat, come from you guys as ADs or the vote from the schools or?
So it's supposed to be one school, one vote, is what it's supposed to be. So the annual meeting is March, coming up here.
And you're our vote, right? On that, do you go to that?
Yeah, I mean, yeah,
No,
anyone,
I
yeah, but
assume.
yes, yeah, I usually go up and attend that meeting. So it's not a done deal, but in terms of what they're gonna present, they have it locked down to this.
So do they go as deep as conference championships and?
No.
Playoff
No.
The
runs?
state.
No, it is
Playoff
just a
runs.
state title.
Oh, I thought it was, even if you're not
Well, so
sectional title.
It's a point.
And
system.
yeah, it's a point
Yes.
system, so
Okay.
so many points for winning state, so many points for runner up. You will get points, yeah, if you're a sectional.
Yep.
But like, cause I'm thinking like in football, there's nothing but
State runner up.
state runner up and then a state qualifier. You know, they don't have regional sectional, so. It was brought up back in September at our local meeting, our area meeting for the ADs. There was a lot of, I expressed a lot of concerns. Because again, you know, I understand the appeal process, but I also sit there and go, well, okay, how is that gonna work if someone says, well, this was our stud class,
Yeah,
they graduated. I can't go out and reload like some schools can.
Like the Catholic school.
You know, so-
The
I will say this,
It's
it
ridiculous.
is better than what we have now, which is nothing. But it is far from what I think is a comprehensive solution.
It's a kick in the can. WIAA is very good at that.
Well, instead of going over like an Illinois system is what,
That's,
you know,
might offend somebody that way.
yeah.
So,
Call Willie, he's close. Maybe you can get old Willie down there in Blackhawk.
very interesting.
Anything else?
No,
Cal?
that was my update.
Okay, thank you, Carly and Kale. On to item 12, discussion and action regarding the gymnastics co-op.
yeah, so this, you know, just like all co-ops has to be done. This one actually is every year, which is why it seems like it keeps coming up. But with 4 schools involved, I kind of wanted to get this on the agenda a little bit earlier to make sure we could get everyone on the same page. For those of you that are new, basically at the end of the season, what they do is they take the total cost and they divide it amongst how many kids are on the team, and then they bill us. That has generally been pretty steady, $1,500 to $1,800 per athlete over the last few years. The only expense I know that has increased, officials. You know, so I could see there being, because like the invite that they host over in Southwestern, they have 10 officials, and I think they get about $250 a piece.
Sure.
So,
So why is this one set up as a 1 year?
that's WIA. I honestly don't know.
Gymnastics is 1 year?
Gymnastics is 1 year for everybody. It's not just us. It's the WIA requires every year to
Let's see.
redo those co-ops.
And everybody's on board?
Yeah, I mean, we have 3 kids right now. Quinn Hessler will be graduating, and then we have two other ones that are definitely, the DePaul sisters that are definitely gonna continue it, so. My recommendation is,
A second.
Did somebody make a
Yeah,
I
I
did.
read it.
Oh,
I second.
motion by Matt? Second by Winslow to approve the gymnastic co-op. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passed. Discussion and item number 13, discussion and action regarding creation of IT director's position.
Our technology support is currently provided by an outside organization that we hire. It's been that way for many, many years. Looking at exploring the possibility of having our own person do it in-house instead of the outside company. it's kind of the chicken and the egg. Do we first approve the position and then look for the person and do the interviews, or the other way? So what we're requesting now is just permission to create the position. And then we will set up some interviews and see where it goes from there.
I move to create an IT position.
Second.
Motion by Stopker, second by Zumbiller to create the IT director's position. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? Motion passed. Item 14, discussion and action regarding resignations. Those are Arnie Mehy and Cross Country and Caitlin Douglas and Dem's assistants.
So I don't know why Arnie's not here because he had a letter off. Right.
I have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so
That's a really good.
I genuinely don't know why he's not here because he was gonna read this. So I don't know if you want me to read it, or if you guys want to read it on your own, you're welcome to.
Up to you, Charlie, if you want to read it, or we can just read it more than welcome.
All right. So I'm gonna read this on behalf of my dad. Try to get through it. We'll see if I can't, then we'll just call it good. But Mr. Jackson, Mr. Moyer, Mr. Flanagan, Mr. Reichling, and school board members, all former students. After 41 years of being the head coach of cross country, being the head cross country coach at Darlington High School, I decided it's time for me to step aside and allow someone else to take over the reins of the program. As I sat back and tried to put 41 years of coaching here in perspective, I came up with some interesting stats. During that time there, we've had 5 superintendents, 5 high school principals, and 6 elementary middle school principals. Also, with the help of a former and current head coaches and looking through old yearbooks, I came up with these numbers of head coaches and head coaches each sport has had since then. Boys golf 8, girls golf 5, football 5, boys basketball 8, girls basketball 11, wrestling 6, baseball 8, volleyball 8, gymnastics 4, track 4, softball 6. 41 years is the longest anyone has coached at DHS. During my time as head coach, I have had the opportunity to coach 720 kids from 514 different families, and I coached 28 kids whose parents I also coached. The first kid of a kid I coach happens to be a school board member and reading this letter. Those 720 kids have won 38 conference championships, sent 39 teams and 16 individuals to the state meet, where they were a runner-up 6 times and won 9 state championships. As I think of all that, it takes me back to when I interviewed for the teaching position here with Mr. Shellevold in the spring of 1980. When he asked me, where do you see yourself in 5 years from now? I answered that question with, here in Darlington, creating a winning program. That sounded like a good answer to me at the time. That was somewhat of a bold, naive statement at that time. Darlington hadn't won a conference championship in any sport, boys or girls, for 7 years, and it would be another 4 years before we won our first state title. Now, 43 years later and 41 years of coaching cross country, I guess there was some truth to that answer. I look back on the years I have coached with pride, gratitude, and a little disbelief. Having rode the bus home as conference champ 38 times, having someone from the WIA hand me a trophy 16 times, winning our school's first boys and girls state championship, coaching all 4 of my kids at state, winning a state champion with 2 of my kids on the team, having one of my kids be a 3-time state championship is more than any coach could hope for. And because of the hard work so many runners in support of their parents had happened, that is why it has been so very difficult to have this come to an end. Yet it is a good decision. There are 2 people in the wings who have their hearts in the program and have life in sports and perspective, both of which are hard to find. They will run this program with enthusiasm in class, with their runners as their number 1 priority. I have some Gail, don't worry. They have already connected with kids on a personal basis and they see them on a daily basis, and so it's time, and I see and understand that. As I reflect on everything this past year, I realize that I've given a major part of my life to the Darlington schools and the cross country program. But what is even more true, the Darlington schools and cross country program have given me the best life a teacher and coach could ever ask for. I will forever be indebted to those 720 kids and 514 families who helped me build the program our school and community could be proud of. The role a coach plays is important but overrated. The bottom line is young men and women make the decision to do the little extra things and turns ordinary into champions
not only as athletes, but as people. I would be very remiss if I didn't give an extra special thank you to my first girl cross country runner at our school and my first assistant coach, my wife, Ann. Her help and support made everything we were able to accomplish possible. Also, thank you to Carly, Hannah, Kent, Tyson for tolerating the time I was gone and for putting up with their dad as a coach, which I might add was not easy. Oh my God, not easy. So as I end my retirement letter, I will leave you with what I wrote when the WIA asked me to write explaining why I coached to put on their website. I coach to inspire kids and show them that they are stronger than they thought they were and to teach them lessons in life. So when they leave our program, they are not only better runners and athletes, but also better people. That was always been my goal. And I hope I was able to do that. Sincerely, Coach B. And I just thank you guys for letting me read that because one thing to see it in the community and be a runner, but then to be his daughter and watch how much has gone into the program for 41 years. It's hard to watch him walk away, I guess, which it's time and Kent's very, very ready to take over the program. But with that being said, I will make a motion to accept Mr. Meehan's resignation and thank him for everything that he's done for our town and our school.
Motion by Carly, second by Staffer to accept Arnie Meehy's resignation as cross-country coach. All those in favor, say aye.
I
Motion passed. Thank you, Carly, for reading that, and thank you, Arnie, for all the years and dedication you've given to the people of the Darlington School District. Caitlin Douglas, resignation of Dem's assistant.
No. She's resigning her position. It was hard decisions. Her career is taking her a different path. We're parting on very good terms. She'd be welcome back here anytime.
Make a motion approved.
I'll
Thanks.
second Baker.
Motion by Chris, second by Winslow to accept Caitlin Douglas's resignation with our thanks. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passed. Item 15, discussion and action regarding early graduation requests. Mr. Moyer?
Yeah, can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay. We have a student who came to us last year at the semester, came from another state. His guardians are now his grandparents. But the bottom line is this, he was in school, doing his best, but we came to a conclusion that maybe going to options and Mineral Point was going to be the best fit for him. And he went this year after the first quarter, and he has worked extremely hard. He earned 7.5 credits in the first semester. Excuse me, that was one quarter. With the projection, he's going to finish the other 7.5 before the end of May. And with his electives, he would have all of his credits needed to graduate. And now, typically, per our policy, when you have a junior who wants to graduate early, the protocol is that they would have to ask the school board. They would go through myself and Mr. Up and On, Mr. Jackson, and then we'd bring it to the school board and ask that after 4 semesters that you would consider this person to graduate early. I guess one of the things that I'm asking for you to consider is he has only been in our district now going on his 3rd semester, and he's already accomplished the credits that he needs. It's a good fit for him. Options was he does have plans after high school. And a matter of fact, he came into my office today, as well as spoke to Mr. Up and On, told us both that he was accepted to Southwest Tech in their welding program. So his plan of action is to now attend there next fall. There's nothing holding him back. He's accomplished things that we didn't know that he was going to, which kind of surprised us, but yet he's earned it. And he and his guardian, his grandmother and grandfather would like to have him graduate early and get started on his education and prepare him for the working world.
See, why not, if he's got enough credit.
Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Moyer?
So he's going to graduate in May. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, he would graduate with the senior class. Yeah, there'd be a little work on our end to get the diploma and things, but we can pull that off if approved.
Our cutoff is December, right?
That's for the seniors. When you talk juniors, it has to be after or by the end of the fourth semester. And I guess to that point, Matt, that would be my ask that, yes, for our policy, it says after 4 semesters. But I guess my counter argument to that would be this young man's only on his 3rd semester. So he wasn't here. He was in another state his freshman year and came to us with 3 credits. So he has worked hard. And so I would ask that the consideration be given to him that he falls within the 4 semesters to graduate high school after his junior year. And I think I read that right. I don't know if anybody else read the policy when they saw that.
I've got the policy in front of me and what Mr. Moister stated is correct. You are allowed to graduate after six semesters, but you need to inform everybody involved at the end of your 4th semester if you're going to graduate at the end of the 6 semesters. This does follow within our policy. I know there's been some questions in the past, but I do think this is extraordinary circumstances, and I do really feel that the board should really consider this.
As long as it's not bucking the policy.
No, it's not bucking the
If it's not
policy.
bucking the policy, then so be it. I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Chris, second by Zoomiller to approve the early graduation request. All those in favor say aye. All those opposed? Motion passed.
Thank you, guys.
This does seem to keep coming up though. Every meeting, we keep getting another early graduation request. I mean, are the students not aware of some of these policies that would be? I mean, we've done 3 different meetings with early graduation requests.
Feel like
Jeff, I'll answer that one for you. When we had those seniors in reference to the 3 meetings, we tried to get those all done at one time, but the time frame didn't fall. We didn't do our best to get those letters like we wanted to. We wanted them all in the beginning of December, but those who were prepared and had their letter done, and some were still working on it, those seniors, yeah, that was our hope, is to do it at once. And they have followed the protocol and the policy. This one is kind of outside the norm because it's a junior. And this is, as Bob said, this is not the norm, but there are no more. I mean, this is the exception to the rule following the policy. So I hope that answered your question.
Nope, then we'll go on to item 16. Discussion action regarding auditorium floor covering purchase.
The infrastructure committee met and listened to some different options and is going to recommend to the board tonight that they approve purchasing carpet as a floor covering for the entire auditorium. Based on primarily a request from people in that area, had concerns of sound quality and things I think is better with carpet. I would add a little bit of I don't know if this is a change to the plans or not, but they went into the auditorium, they were looking at the different styles of carpet and colors and everything. And there's a question that's come up now. As long as we're taking the seats out and putting the new carpet in, do we want to look at putting new seats in as well? And those seats in there are very old. That's a legitimate question to at least think about before we make the final decision on carpet. I think it'd be fine. I would hope that we could approve tonight the purchase of the carpet. That's if everybody's still in agreement on that. But just knowing that it probably is not going to get ordered tomorrow because we're still going to do a little research first on this chair situation.
And the chairs were replaced 20 years ago, do I remember? 20.
At least.
They were done the last time I remodeled it. I believe it's 2004.
Are there holes in them or something, or?
This isn't my request.
I know, I'm just asking, like, I mean, you're the building maintenance manager, I
What do
mean,
you feel about the?
are there holes in it, are they worn
There's some
out?
wear and tear on them, but nothing that, we haven't repaired it past.
Kale, that if we do decide to do this project, that could come out of the gift, correct?
Correct. We have a recent donation that can only be used for theater or music area. This would fall under that. Yeah.
Would there be enough in there to cover the chairs?
Yes, sir.
What's an approximate on these chairs?
300 chairs.
I have no idea.
Well, then how could you say there's enough?
But there's a big amount in that fund.
Yeah.
I'm just asking.
There's a big amount in that fund.
I don't know the exact amount of chairs, but I can imagine a range, and it's everywhere in the range is below what we have. So.
Okay.
Here's a question, when we're looking at this, whatever the upgrade is coming, and they're talking about like the booth or not the booth, the pit for like the orchestra, are we looking at taking out some of those seats? Like, I don't want to be paying for 3 rows of seats that are going to be removed.
From what I heard from Lee, who I think was in there, could maybe help me with this, but I did not hear anything about that. I did hear about taking the side stage out. That little front side stage they built.
The play director informed me that when her husband built that side stage, how many years ago, they plan on having him take it back out. And they would like to put some more seats back in. The seats that we pulled out, we saved some of them, and they want those put back in where that side stage. That's what she told me.
I have no idea, but the last place I've been to, they've utilized that part of the stage, haven't they?
Yeah, that's what she told us in our meeting though. So,
Okay,
Could
Well-
we,
I make a motion, we order new carpet. We know we need carpet, we've decided to go that direction. I mean, that's what this
Yeah.
discussion's about. I
Yeah.
mean, I have no idea about seats and all this other stuff you're telling me about.
I second that.
We could have an infrastructure meeting when you get those prices. We can have that, have
So
another discussion on that.
we'll get the new carpet.
Okay, thank you.
I would just rather have a plan of where we're going, and if they're
Well,
actually,
unfortunately, we don't really have that's, some of that's unrealistic. I wouldn't say unrealistic, but it's a hope. Some people have very big goals for that room.
Mhm.
And if you're basing it off those goals, I'm not sure
well,
that's in the nearest future.
that's understandable, and I get that, but
I would
also
say
don't
if
wanna
it
be putting in-
is it 5 or 10 years out? I have no idea what the budgets are and all those type of things, but with that being said, I would ask, do you think the seating could make another 5 to 10 years?
the seating, in my opinion, the seating could wait a while.
Okay.
Well, the last thing I would want to do is to rush in and get something that everybody's 100% happy with.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, we passed the flooring. I mean, we really don't have any other discussion on it. Right now.
I'd sit on the chairs.
Motion by Chris, second by Stafford to approve the purchase of the auditorium flooring carpet. All those in favor say aye. All
Aye.
opposed? Motion passed. Item 17, discussion and action regarding the creation of DEM's teacher's assistant position.
Yeah, we're constantly, as an administrative team, reviewing needs in the building, and we have a need currently for a halftime assistant position. Be one-on-one, working with the student.
I mean, is this something that has to happen right away? I mean, I guess, 1, 2, 3, or 4 board members short, and we're doing a hiring position. Can this wait 2 weeks? I'm just asking.
Wouldn't be ideal. Wouldn't be ideal to wait. I mean, there are some things where I would say, no, it's not time sensitive, but this is not one of those.
I mean, that's all I'm saying.
This,
I mean,
it's for a one-on-one, you say, Kale?
What's that?
This position's for a one-on-one with a certain.
Yes, sir. Correct.
So this- know.
And remember, we're just creating the position here. We're not hiring anybody, so that's still gotta come down the road, so we can
Yeah, that's true. You could still have the authority to hire or not.
still hire or not hire, so.
Well, if that's the case, I mean, I guess if you want to start that process, I guess it is what it is, but I mean, I hate hiring a full position for anybody, you know, without as many of the full board here as possible.
Do you have somebody in mind already?
No.
So
We'll post it tomorrow if it's
Okay,
approved.
I'm just asking. I moved, create a position.
Second.
Motion by Stafford, second by Zoomiller to create the Dems teacher assistant position. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign.
I just, that being said, that assistant, I hope knows kind of what, when they come in and interview, exactly what their job title or what's gonna be asked of them in that position. That's all.
All right. Item 18, superintendent, principals, activities directors, and building and ground reports. Kale?
I didn't really have too much. I was just gonna, it's more of an announcement. As we already said that, Mr. Wolf has resigned from the board. That creates an open spot on the board. So if any of you or anyone watching, knows of anyone that would be a good board member, we will be tomorrow posting that position. The process would be interested people would apply. They would be interviewed by the board. If there are multiple people, board interview, make a decision. And that position would then, well, there's an election in April, but that's already set. This person appointed would be all the way through to next April.
How many people are on? How many people do we have registered for the election?
4, right? 4 openings and 4 people.
Okay, so there was an extra.
Are you gonna post in the paper,
And Facebook.
this one?
Yeah.
And when do you wanna interview?
Our policy says that we leave it for 3 weeks go, so.
Next month.
Okay,
Yeah.
that'll be next month. Okay, so be it.
So at our next meeting, we can see where we're at and we can.
Yeah, I can give an update then, but we wouldn't be able to do anything.
Update and set something up next meeting.
All right.
Thank you, Kale. Mike?
All right, so I distributed my report for this meeting, the Rosie staff members of the week. Nate Weigel for the week of January 23rd, Beth Kohler for the week of January 30th, and Tricia Bowers for this week. So congratulations to all of those individuals. On January 18th, Mr. Black took Mr. Ackerman's science classes to look at the solar panels that we have here at DEMS, and I thought the students learned a lot and asked some great questions. So thank you to those two gentlemen for organizing that educational opportunity. On January 20th, our 5th graders went to a Math 24 competition in Fenimore. Alex Tooley, Easton Rear, and Maylee Taft represented DEMS at that event. And then January 25th, it was a rescheduled 4th grade Math 24 competition. We had Callaway, Fechner, Leiden, Walmsley, and Liv Jackson representing DEMS at that. So, and then finally, in Fenimore, the sectional spelling bee took place on January 25th. And so we had Barrett Cecil as our representative and Tanner Boatman representing as an alternate. Thanks to Miss O'Neill for organizing all of these gifted and talented opportunities. On February 2nd, the 8th grade tech ed class conducted a catapult showcase during lunch recess. So the kids had built catapults in their woodworking class, and during recess, they got to show off the capabilities. Mr. Johnson facilitated that activity. I thought it was a neat way to promote excitement about technical education. And then on February 2nd at night, the DEMS pep band went to the high school and performed with the DHS pep band at the girls basketball game. That's an effort between Mrs. Curry and Mr. Jacobson to promote enthusiasm at the middle school level about the high school band program. Girls basketball and wrestling at the middle school are in full swing, or actually are approaching their conclusion. So at an upcoming meeting, I'll just have an update and final participation numbers for that. And then teachers have provided their input in 2 areas recently, some ideas about grading and assessment and some scheduling feedback as we look ahead to next year and think about some subtle but purposeful changes to better promote student outcomes. And then I just want to commend our staff for continually looking for solutions. You know, a school year is a series of peaks and valleys. And, you know, this stretch here after Christmas break is a long one, but as we look at student learning and we look at behavioral needs, our staff does a great job of trying to look for solutions. You can see some upcoming K4 RTI committee meeting that actually, I think I just got an email that got pushed back. Mr. Moyer and I would have the district math curriculum team doing some work on February 8th. We've got our child find coming up on the 9th and the 10th. And so I'm learning about that and what that entails. PBIS meets on February 13th, and then February 15th and 16th, a couple of FFA activities, a petting zoo on the 15th, and then a presentation of 5-8. Again, an effort by the high school FFA to get our middle school kids familiar with and excited about what the FFA entails.
What's child find?
Yeah, I don't know what that is.
So I asked
We lost one.
Kelly Rose a little bit about that.
I've lost one.
2.5 to 4-year-olds who are not yet eligible for 4K. The goal is to locate students who might have disabilities and to do some early interventions. It involves a half-hour evaluation, and there's multiple people involved in that. Beth Kohler from the speech lens, Mary Ellen Engelke from the early childhood lens, Michelle Ortega is involved because of the EL aspect of things. And then, of course, Kelly Rose as the director. Diane Ritchie, Taylor Tooley, and our new ESL secretary, Yesenia Santos, have been scheduling those evaluations. And, you know, after, families who have concerns can attend that. And then there's a follow-up after those half-hour evaluations to see if there are kids who, would be qualifying for early childhood down the road. So it's mandated that we do a child find of that nature. So.
Any other questions for Mike? Okay, thank you, Mike. Rich?
Yeah, thank you. I've got quite a few student accolades. I'd like to give some shout outs to our students. First, congratulations to our class of 2023 valedictorian, Max McGuire, and then to the salutatorian, Alexis Bridges. Congratulations to Laura Weaver, who participated in the Wisconsin Student Senate program during the week of January 22nd through the 27th. Excuse me. Congratulations to Sophie Weigel. She was selected by the Honors Performance Series as a member of the all-female alto chorus. They're members from 46 states, 5 countries. She practiced with a guest conductor and her choir members on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. And then they had a 2 p.m. concert at Carnegie Hall in New York City on Saturday, February 4th. As a part of that group, her next venture will occur in Sydney, at the Sydney Opera House in Sydney, Australia, in the first week in August. So that's a great accomplishment. So congratulations to her. Congratulations to Blaine Krapp, Sydney Weber, Kyla Radloff, they will be participating in the Tri-State Honors Band this weekend at UW-Platteville. FFA District Leadership Competition. I want to congratulate the participants and the advisors. Quite a few names here, but I think they deserve a shout out for their hard work. The Parliamentary Procedure Team placed second. They're moving on to sectionals. Wyatt Davis, Ashlyn Norgard, Octavia Myler, Eliza Johnson, Sammy Turpin, Jada Ruff, and Lila Norgard. The discussion meet, Aubrey McCarthy placed second. She's moving on. Erica Myler did participate in that competition. Creed speaking, Blaze White placed first, moving on to sectionals. Brody Whitford placed third. Prepared speaking, Laura Weaver placed second, moving on to sectionals. Alexis Murray participated in that one. extemporaneous speaking. Sammy Turpin placed first, and Laura Weaver placed second. They're both moving on to sectionals. Employment skills, Aubrey McCarthy placed second, moving on to sectionals, and Erica Myler participated in that one. And then the 8th grade quiz bowl team placed second and moving on to sectionals. And forgive me if I don't say all the names right. Paige Douglas, Rainey Norgard, Marcus Kendall, and Remy Niffenegger. If I mispronounce it, I apologize, Remy. FFA week, sticking with FFA, is technically the 20th to the 24th, but we have 2 days off of school that week. So our FFA week in Darlington will be next week. They will be having many activities during the week, handing out cookies, milk to students, petting zoo, as Mike mentioned, all school assembly, ice cream sundaes. They're going to have a trivia contest. So looking forward to that next week. Just a reminder to everyone, the FFA toy show and breakfast is this Sunday, February 12th from 7:30 to 12:30 in the high school gym and the cafeteria. A thank you to Mr. Uppenaw. He set up the mental health summit that we recently had at the high school. A lot of positive feedback from our students, and it was well received. And so I just want to give him a shout out. He did a great job. And he was very flexible. We had a number of presenters cancel at the last minute, and he punted. He made it happen and just readjusted things, but it went off really smoothly. And a thank you to our classroom teachers, because we use their classrooms and they were there to help supervise, but they also open up their classrooms to make sure this event happened. Coming up in April, I know it's some time off, but sometime in the distance, but I wanted to mention that our conference math meet is coming up on April 14th, which leads me into the math department. As Mr. Flanagan spoke about, we've done some work recently and some more coming up this Wednesday, but the math department, they're finalizing their curriculum needs. Math teachers have been reviewing and or piloting samples recently. We're getting closer to finalizing our math curriculum needs for the 23-24 school year and beyond. We have had staff working on and analyzing 2 essential standards, and they have 1 to 2 more of those to do in the coming months. Then finally, I will be attending the middle school, high school principals conference this week up in the Dells, Wednesday through Friday. So I'm looking to get just checking out some things, getting some more resources, ideas for the high school, and looking forward to that time there at that conference.
Anybody have any questions for Rich? If not, thank you, Rich. Pat?
Hey, life's good in the sports world. We're coming up on the end of our winter seasons, knock on wood. We have no makeups, no reschedules. Hopefully the weather holds and we can keep that going. Our wrestlers competed at the Swick-Swall Clash this weekend. Had some good results. Team, I believe, finished 7th overall. So they will go to regionals in Belleville this weekend. Girls are winding up their season. They got regular season ends, and then they'll go into playoffs. Boys a week after that. So hopefully it'll be a pretty busy time coming up. Gymnastics is also winding down, but as we wind down from the winter season, we obviously are gearing up. Spring sports track starts in a month from today. And then after that, pitchers and catchers for baseball report, and then softball, and then golf. So yeah, pretty soon we'll be rolling right into it. So busy time of the year.
Any questions for Pat? Not, thanks, Pat. Lee?
I once again would like to thank all the cleaners and sub cleaners that have helped Debs getting through with the absence of a full-time custodian. They've been able to get everything done and help me out, and it's much appreciated. The FEMA gym is in a kind of a wait and see. We're waiting for weather to cooperate, and be closer to a start date in April. And lastly, I'm working on the building and grounds budget, preparing that for the infrastructure committee sometime this spring.
Question for Lee? If not, thanks, Lee. Down to item 19, which is for executive session, hire custodian. Executive session pursuit of Wisconsin State Statutes 19.85 Paramount 1 Paramount C. Need a motion to go into closed session.
Make a motion.
Second.
Motion by Staffer, second by.
I second.
Second by. All those in favor to go in session?
You gotta do voice.
Aye.
What's that?
All those opposed? We're in closed session.